The year 2012 is an issue of discussion across the world. There is an anticipation of a colossal shift, both for the better and for the worse, everywhere. Will 2012 signal the end of the world as we know it today? 3 years down the line, are we going to witness enormous bloodshed, pandemics, and some kind of global flood that would deluge the earth? These are the questions one often comes across these days. Or does the year present a possibility of evolving and emerging into a new age, an age of peace and harmony? What is the predicament of humankind in the coming years? Most ancient civilizations describe the changes that take place in the world as the natural rhythms of the universe. These are symbolized as the 4 cycles. The arrival of a new cycle symbolizes the emergence of a new perception. Each of these ages symbolize a predominant culture and a state of consciousness. They reflect the understanding and the relationship between matter and consciousness. The first cycle is the age of oneness. The divide between consciousness and matter was non-existent. The second cycle is a time when the perception of the fundamental oneness of all life is beginning to erode. Nevertheless, the perception is one of interconnectedness. Consciousness influences matter, and matter too could influence consciousness. In the third cycle, consciousness is seen to be superior to matter and hence capable of influencing matter. The gulf has deepened. In the last cycle, matter is perceived to be devoid of life and is a plaything in the hands of consciousness, being symbolized by man. This fundamental divide between matter and consciousness is supposed to be reflected in all walks of life: our science, our art, our values, our religion, our concept of the profane and the sacred, our relationships with one another, our relationship with nature, and ultimately our relationship with ourselves. Every cycle is naturally supposed to roll into the other, and according to the ancients, this is one among the innumerable cycles that have gone before. The shift from one cycle to the other is illustrated by a story. This happened in the previous cycle, when one farmer sold his land to his neighbor, and one day, as fortune would have it, he found a pot of gold in the land. The neighbor came to the original owner of the land and offered the pot of gold, saying, "I bought your land, but not the pot of gold. Please take the gold. It is yours, not mine." The first farmer refused to accept the gold from him. Both fought over the issue, and finally the matter was taken to the notice of the emperor. Hearing the case, the emperor was perplexed and summoned them to the court after a few days. A week later, the farmers approached the emperor, but with a new conflict this time. Surprisingly, the farmer who sold the land now said, "I only sold the land, not the gold contained in it. Give me back my pot of gold." The neighbor now furiously disagreed with him and said, "When I purchased the land, I bought everything that was contained in the land too. I am not going to part with it." Unable to find a solution, the emperor presented the issue to Lord Krishna. When Lord Krishna heard the story, he declared, "It has come." The new cycle had emerged. A problem that never existed a week ago was created with the change in cycle, which in turn produced a shift in perception. A perception that was dramatically opposed to the one that existed in the previous cycle. We are living in momentous times. We are witnessing the emergence of a new cycle. The year 1989 marks the first emergence of this new epoch called the Age of Oneness. After a period of 23 years, the present age gives way to the Age of Oneness by the end of 2012, whose presence would be felt in 2035. Change is accelerating all around us in every sphere of human existence, be it education, politics, transportation, science, and medicine. Where are we going? What is the direction? We are accelerating into a new world, a world that is grounded not in divisiveness and separation, but the oneness of all things. Oneness between matter and consciousness, between man and man, between man and God, between man and nature. We are witnessing the birth pangs of a new civilization, a new perception, and underneath it all is a new flame of consciousness. Remember, a change in perception brings about a change in feeling that brings about a change in consciousness. Consciousness impacts your very experience of life, which subsequently creates a shift in destiny.